What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight, kicking off another brand new week. And guess what? This time next week, it's training camp. I can't wait.
Next time this week, we're talking about day one check-in day for the Cowboys. They'll be in Oxnard. They'll be checking in. And we'll be screaming navy, blue, silver too. And as always, go Cowboys, star over everything. You know what we do here. So kicking off a new week, 1 week left before it really gets going. We really get that first true taste of what the season may be like. But before we get there, man, we got a whole week to go here.
Yes,
a lot of tune-up and also some professional ballers in the membership. I mean, in the I guess you could say the people that make the things happen here in MCF on the nightly. This week we got two.
They're also on the membership.
Yeah, we got two different leaders taking over tonight from last week. And let's start off with them, starting with the sponsor of the week, the man staying skeptical, the membership, man.
Skeptical fan.
Woo.
Thank you so much, Skeptical. Appreciate you. By the way, also, a pre-stream 149 drop
That's
there.
right.
Much love.
Jumps on that board, had the lead. And we'll keep going here in a minute because there was another drop here. But Skeptical fan, much love. He is the sponsor of the week. He currently is in second place on the overall board. He's also back-to-back membership gifting champion. 2 months we've had this new feature. He's been the champion both months, and he looks like he might go for a three-peat because right now he is currently the leader, and there are 31 gifted memberships just for this month. 35 is their all-time record. He's 5 away from breaking that. But pre-stream, Jason Renfro dropping the membership gifting love. Much love to Jason Renfro dropping a membership that, who got it, baby? It's the man running the board here when it comes to the stream boss. He's the boss of the stream. Mark Hopesepian, 52 points on the stream boss, and he's also back in that navy blue crew. Now he can actually give memberships out. He can go to the silver or the star or the over everything. Well, he can just chill where he's at there in navy blue. But appreciate everyone. Much love to Jason gifting out a membership there. And, the last spot on the board we got to discuss here. Usually it's Jason Renfro's spot, but it's that Cash App crown, and it's being worn right now. 2 weeks in a row from Jason Renfro, passed on to the man that we know why he's here. Snug X, much love to him.
Of course.
Yes, he's repping that side of things. And currently, the leader is no one. There's nobody leading right now in that board. But we got a new week. Just kick it off today, guys. Now, in first place, because of that gifted membership, Jason Renfro is currently the top man on the overall board, kicking off this final week before we get to training camp official.
So thank you, Jason, and congrats, Mark Hopesepian.
Yeah, exactly. So much love to Jason. Congrats, Mark. And also, extra special love to those in the star level membership, the daily shout-outs. Skeptical fan, the sponsor of the week. Jason Renfro just gifted the membership. Dwayne Broussard, always repping it. They're a top dog. Mary Alvarez, appreciate you. And, of course, we got ladies, we got guys, we got worldwide here, all the way in Australia, Lincoln Kane, LC, in that star level membership. We got 5 on it right now, but it could be more. Hey, soon we're going to have jerseys raffled off, guys. You know how this goes. When it comes to that star level membership, we do a little bit of raffle here, right? So I'll bring up the information, I guess you can say,
yeah, but
on that
there's
soon.
a variety of ways to show the love here on FCF. Yeah,
Yes.
Cash App, Money Sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, Streamlabs, of course, lets your comment show up right on screen.
Yeah, and of course, those four with the other four, which is membership gifting, thanks button, and of course, super chat.
Skeptical fan always. Staying skeptical, much love to the sponsor of the week, the membership man.
Yeah.
Rolando Rodriguez, what's up? Stephen White, hello and hi. Kenzie Bands, showing some love from that Philly, D.C. area. Hey, we always rep the Cowboy fans repping in enemy territory.
Yeah.
That's dangerous shit. So.
Yeah, worldwide or enemy territory, it's a star of everything.
Always.
Hey,
Love it.
love it.
So, Thomas Garrett, the superior. The superior Garrett there. Scorpio, what's up? Much love. Cameron, hello and hi. And yes, trust me, we're definitely going to talk about CeeDee Lamb, Madden, a few other things in relation
definitely,
to that.
Some things you guys don't even have on your radar. We'll bring up tonight, I'm sure.
First of all, Jason Renfro, that really freaking sucks. You have like the worst luck with losing power, I have to say.
No, my mom is like right there with them.
I
My
know,
mother loses
that's
power
a good
every
point.
day. If the wind blows, like after 5 miles, my mom loses.
Yeah, but that really sucks, Jason.
Jason ran from my mom. Yeah, same boat.
Splenda Papi, what's up? Much love. We have Big Flock 91.
What, the flock?
So Dustin Roberts, what's up? So, hey, you still got to enjoy it, right?
Hell yeah.
Rolling back a little bit more. And I just want to make sure I got everybody here. Q Ball, Cactus G, of course, Marco Sepian.
We're starting off strong tonight. Mark in the house. We're starting off strong tonight because...
APJR, Starboy.
Hey, listen. Just a couple minutes...
Freedom First.
Couple minutes in. We got 34 people now. Was Freedom First again? I always like to know.
I think he was, yeah.
Oh, there you go. So,
yes, he was.
34 powered in here right away. As we get closer, the crowd will grow. Trust us on this. I know we're going late. When we get to, to the Cowboy stuff on the nightly here, when they have, literal nightly news changing, we will be here a little earlier than I think our 12:30 Eastern time numbers here. So expect us to start getting started a little earlier than our extra late night shows that we had this off season. So just a little, I guess a little word there, a little note for everyone to mark down their calendars or in their memory banks when it comes to this little channel here on YouTube. 6 years and beyond.
Yeah,
so,
Titan Anderson, much love to you.
Titan Anderson, hey, big move today, or I guess we talked about it yesterday, I should say, when it comes to DeAndre Hopkins, right? We had that discussion. I know, listen, it's a great move. If you're the Tennessee Titans, I'm sure, you are ecstatic about this. But I do have this is a question you want to go and ask Titan Anderson on his channel. Subscribe over there as well. But I'm going to ask him here now. Titan, number one, why don't you just keep A.J. Brown? Just saying, like A.J. Brown, less drama, less drama there, right? But maybe there's an issue. I don't know what the details of the back end stuff behind the scenes with the Tennessee Titans might be locker room issues. But
obviously there could have been some friction.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. Just saying, why A.J. Brown? Why not keep him here? Why go after a whole brand new guy to fit in your scheme? A.J. Brown obviously is very good. We've seen him twice a year last year with the Eagles. But the other question I have is, well, not question, but the comment I have for the Cowboy fan base here. We discussed this in detail last night. I'm happy we didn't. Cowboys were one of the guys initially in the front, one of the teams in the front runners, like to get him and sign. And I don't mind him. He's a great player.
So straight from Titan Anderson, good to know. He said there's a different GM. It's why he was.
That's right. This was his first move. This GM was his first. I forgot his. I talked about him the other day, but
right, so
his first move for him, the first big splash, we'll call it.
That still means that D-Hop must fit into whatever his new plans are going to be, even though he's obviously, like we said, relatively expensive chip.
Yeah, right? No, but it's a you can have the injuries, this situation come up about DeAndre Hopkins. That's what we were talking about, him coming to Dallas. The thing for the Cowboys is once we got Brandon Cooks, there was no need for DeAndre Hopkins. Plus, Brandon Cooks is a different kind of receiver for the Cowboys who like DeAndre Hopkins would be. There's some CeeDee Lamb that, CeeDee Lamb has some of DeAndre Hopkins, but you also got some of DeAndre Hopkins and Michael Gallup. But you don't have the pure speed guy like you have with a 4.3 40 Brandon Cooks. So to me, that is the bigger deal. It fits in our scheme better. And the last thing, the cheapness of Brandon Cook's contract. $20 million 2 years. They can max it out at $32 million in 2 years with DeAndre Hopkins. I just think that Brandon Cooks fits the Cowboy scheme and plan, the West Coast kind of offense, 30% change better. This is for the Cowboy fans. And again, if we needed DeAndre Hopkins in here, he didn't have Brandon Cooks, that's a whole different story. But I'm glad we got Brandon Cooks for, again, a 5th round pick and, $8 million hit this year. I think $6 million next year. It's not that much for the Cowboys to absorb the base of Brandon Cooks' contract. So I'm happy with our deal. I know Titan Anderson is happy with their side of things over there with DeAndre Hopkins, and they will be successful with him. They need a guy like him, in my opinion. That's exactly the kind of receiver they need. They wouldn't need Brandon Cooks. So they'll pay the extra $12,000, $6,000 a year more, or $6 million a year more to get the DeAndre Hopkins qualities,
and James,
right?
I have to admit, if the Cowboys are too cheap for D-Hop, then I'm cheap. Because I don't think for that similar price, would have done the same
Similar price.
Like, I'm just saying, like, if we, like, I'm just saying, like,
that's
if
$6 million different.
If we would have had to bargain with a similar type of price tag, like they're bringing to the table, offering something like $12 million to, just saying,
$12 million more, yeah. And it's just,
I don't know how to feel about that.
It's $6 million per year is what it averages. Listen, it could be $3 million because of the incentive, so that changes things, but I'm happy with Brandon Cooks for what he does for our team, and that they need a DeAndre Hopkins
Thomas
for their
Garrett
team.
said that, I know he's down there in Tennessee. He said that the local Tennessee fan vibe is D-Hop is awesome. They're happy.
Well, he is. He is awesome.
They love it. They're excited. Yeah. Great. Titan Anderson throwing out there. Treylon Burks will learn a lot from D-Hop.
True. That's another good thing.
And that the name of their new GM is Rand Carthen.
That's it, yes.
From the 49ers.
Yes. Again,
so hopefully I pronounced that correctly.
Yes. I know it's Carthen. I remember that. I just forgot his name. First name was like a little weird to me.
There you go.
That is correct, and much love.
Yeah, Dustin Roberts said we didn't need D-Hop. We needed speed.
So. And that's where I'm, as Cowboy fans, we're cool.
Cooks is better than Hopkins.
Again, it depends on what you want to do. You want a possession receiver? Then Cooks is not better than Hopkins. But we have possession receivers. They might need more of a possession receiver. So to me, in our scheme, more high pace, fast paced. It's about speed this year. We went into the little details last night about what the Cowboys are going to switch up on the offensive scheme side. What did we say? What was the key word? Speed, faster. So DeAndre Hopkins is not that. He would not fit that like the way Brandon Cooks fits that. So I'm happy. The Tennessee Titans are happy. Hey, maybe we'll meet in the Super Bowl, brother. Let's go, Cowboys. I'm down. I'm ready for a Tennessee Titan Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl. Hell yes, the old Houston Oilers, you know what I mean? So it's a battle, kind of a pseudo battle of Texas if we ever reach it together. But in the end, that star's going to win. That Dallas Cowboy team's getting that 6. And sorry, Tennessee, you're staying with 0. Sorry. You almost had that one against the Rams, all right?
Look, honestly, go and cause some ruckus over in the AFC because honestly, I have to admit, it's tough.
It's tough over there.
It's going to be tough, and I think it's going to be really exciting over on that side of the ball. Whereas I do think over on the NFC side of things, it's going to be exciting for about like 5 teams.
Yeah, and really, it's going to come down to 3 of them.
Figuring their own shit out.
Come down to the Cowboys, Niners, and Eagles. That's what it's going to come down to.
So
let's be honest.
But it's funny though because I actually think that Tennessee has a bigger chance to contend than I think you might be giving them credit for.
I'm not saying they don't have a chance, but it's a tough team.
First year with the GM and stuff like that, it can be tricky. That's all. So
tricky.
Seppian.
Mark in the house, Big H.
He dropped a $5 holler there. And by the way, real quick, Mark, in case you didn't know, Jason Renfro did gift you your membership. So shout out to Jason again. But Marco Seppian said Cooks is great, but D-Hop would be better for the West Coast if you want quick passes. Cooks is a deep threat. The thing is, Cooks was drop dead cheap. So, and honestly, part of it too is, I think we mentioned this, yesterday too, but to me, it's not just about the price tag. It's price tag plus health plus talent. Like, yes, obviously D-Hop is a little bit more... Okay, go ahead.
No. I just want to say, you're right about talent, but it's talent where? Right, it's talent, because to me, the Cowboys don't have... In a West Coast offense, you must have a guy that stretches the field if you want to try to go deep. If not, you're just gonna go. It's not everybody goes short every play. Mm-hmm. So we have big-bodied Michael Gallup. We have a big enough guy like CeeDee Lamb that they can take those slants and take it. We got tight ends that are going to take those quick passes. So Mark, we're good. We don't need another guy taking short slants. We need a guy that can go deep and has 4.3 speed. I think he's more than 4.4 at this point in his career. But when I seen him in the offseason, he was clocked to 4.3. So Brandon Cooks gives us something we do not have. We do not need DeAndre Hopkins in this offense. We have already 2 guys that are big enough. We have tight ends that are going to be athletic and big enough to get those quick passes, running backs out the backfield. So I'm happy. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins, he would have helped in some ways, like when it comes to slants. But then the bigger deficit would be who's the deep guy? Who's a quick, deep threat for us? No one. Not a person. So when you want those West Coast big play hits, you do get about 2 or 3 shots in the West Coast offense a game to go deep and really get a huge 70-yard touchdown. That's what Brandon Cooks is for. DeAndre Hopkins would not fit that. Neither does CeeDee Lamb. Neither was. I'm just saying they might be fast in their own way, but they're not speed burners like Brandon Cooks is specialist. That's his specialty. You know what I mean? Kenzie Bands wants to drop his 2 cents on our Cowboys with his monthly membership, I guess, comment,
message,
right?
yeah.
Let's hear it,
So
Kenzie.
shout out to you, Kenzie.
Hell
He
yeah.
said, they did CeeDee Lamb so wrong with a 90 overall.
We're going to
They got
talk it.
Terry McLaurin over CeeDee. That's so crazy to me. CeeDee should have at least a 94 or 93 overall.
Yeah, you know, you and I have not talked about the numbers and who's in front of CeeDee Lamb. We're going to talk about that here tonight. So get ready for that, Kenzie. We're going to talk about it here shortly, the CeeDee Lamb rankings. But again, remember, it's just a ranking list. It's just Madden. It's disrespectful, but you know we're going to go into. I want to know if you think about the people in front of him.
I was just about to say, I wonder if my possibly slightly controversial opinion on some of the Madden rankings, because like you said, I know the rankings. I don't know the guys in front of them. That's what I purposely held off to the street because I want to hear it.
Well, they already put Scary Terry McLaurin, and you know, we all know CeeDee Lamb is better than Scary Terry. Come on,
gotta agree on that one.
Come on, yeah.
So, but anyway, let me go ahead. Keep shouting out first of all. Let me see. Jumps and Cowboys, what's up? Saying West Coast also takes deep strikes as seen by the Chiefs with Tyreek.
Correct. That's what I'm trying to say. You need your Tyreek, and that's Brandon Cooks. DeAndre Hopkins is not Tyreek. Brandon Cooks is much more like Tyreek. No one's Tyreek, but you guys understand what I'm saying, right? Right, Mark? I want Mark to give his 2 cents because I know, you know, I want to make sure we all on the same page on this. I think the Brandon Cooks factor is major for this kind of scheme and offense we got going. DeAndre Hopkins would not give us that.
Yeah, I think it's easy to say always go for the more talented player, but I hate to bring up the money, but yes, at what price? Because, you know, big talent usually comes with bigger price tags, and that you can get slightly cheaper guys.
Yeah, well, look, it's everything. It's a balance of everything, but fitting the scheme, you don't want to go DeAndre Hopkins and pay him 32 for 2 years. You want to go Brandon Cooks and pay him 20 in 2 years. Skeptical fan, he's going with that J Lou too. Dollar holla right there.
Thank you, Skeptical.
He's still third place on the board. Right there, a little bit behind. A tie in first for Mark and Jason Renfro. Mark goes to 54 points. What a Skeptical fan have to say, baby.
He said,
sponsor of the week.
Titans got rid of Hobbs.
Yeah, quarterback.
The QB we played, 12-29.
That's right. They did release, and we discussed that. And is Tannehill still their starter? I'm trying to think. Or did they draft someone? I think they drafted someone this year. Didn't they? Or last year? I know Titan Anderson in that house. He would let us know. But
yeah, obviously the Titans are the team on
everybody's
name right now with the D-Hop acquisition. So all of us are trying to figure out, hey, what's going on there? What's next? What do you guys going on?
How dare Titan Anderson say he'd take Scary Terry McLaurin? Come on, man. Come on, Tight end. Don't say that. Don't say that. That's not. I think 90% of the world will disagree with you. 90%. So, anyways, that's fine. We let you take him, and we happily take CeeDee Lamb onto the team, very happily. So, I mean, again, any last comments, baby?
Levis?
Who?
James Hurst said. I'm guessing the QB.
Will Levis. That's the guy who drafted.
Yeah.
They drafted him this year. So that's their future. He's going to be their starter. He's there now.
Yeah, so
actually.
He's a Cleveland Brown quarterback now. Stupid Titans. He was solid, said Skeptical fan. So Hobbs is over with the Browns, as I'm guessing backing up Watson.
Yeah, he's a solid guy. I thought he was played pretty well. But again, there's something they didn't like about him because he was demoted literally the next week. He took over and then he was demoted and disappeared from the depth chart after we beat. Yes, we did beat the Tennessee Titans. Just want to remind Titan Anderson.
Oh yeah, Tannehill's still the starter for now.
Okay, yeah.
So
and again, he's just the general.
He's about to hand over the reins to the newly drafted rookie QB. So honestly, that's gonna be a lot of fun because I have one thing that I think has been kind of fun since Dak has joined the league is, and shout out to Jason with that Dollar Holler Classic. Go Cowboys.
You know, that puts him automatically in first place.
Yes, it does.
But he was not done there. He also jumped up into that Cash App and said, I'm taking the lead on the overall board and the Cash App at a $2.57 holler.
Try to stop me now.
Go Cowboys, and much love to Jason Renfro as he reps us to that 6 and beyond.
So, again.
Thank you, Jason.
And real quick, all good there.
Yes, she's good. I saw it. Yes, so, good.
But
daughter's flying back from Italy, guys. That's
kind of rolling back. What was I saying?
We were talking about, I don't know, Hobbs, Jason Renfro's drop. I just called
Tannehill's the starter. He's handing over the reins.
Some will remind us in the chat.
It's all right. Look, if it was that important, I would remember. Let's just keep rolling.
Well, give me one memento, baby.
Un momento. So cue ball throwing out there. Yes, Brandon Cooks is a better fit for CeeDee. And I was going to say, that's the other kind of part of it, too. It's not so much about D-Hop being the more talented player because, again, obviously he is in a lot of ways.
Most ways, I think he is.
We already have a D-Hop-like player.
Close
right?
enough
We
with
already have
CeeDee.
the guy who fits the bill there with CeeDee Lamb. So, and it seems a little bit silly to try to spend more money to pivot in a weird direction instead of, again, investing in the pieces that you already have. So, like you said, in a lot of ways, Brandon Cooks just fits the bill for what we needed.
Stay tuned. We're going to talk more CeeDee Lamb here in a second. But before we get to there, I want to remind everybody to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do know when we're going live on the nightly. And, of course, also, we have the Twitter thing going on at MyCowboysFamily, Discord, join up on that. Memberships going right now, so check it out. And let's get into this day of news first, NFL news. We'll start with that. NFL Finance Committee. This actually affects the Cowboys because everything's always Cowboy related. But NFL Finance Committee voted unofficially today to recommend the approval of Josh Harris's deal to buy the Washington Commanders. So that's now, it was kind of not done yet, obviously. Now it's kind of financially, all the financials seem to be ironed out. The league has reached an agreement with Daniel Snyder to resolve all remaining legal issues. Interesting. So he just sold the team and said, that's the deal. I sell the Commanders. You guys stop investigating me from the NFL side of things. That sounds how that went. Good old Washington. Now, let's take a look at again, we do know training camp is going to be hard knocks for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets.
Yep.
They have cameras all around them. That's get ready to take flight, as they say, right? But just so everyone knows, it's premiering on Max, of course. HBO Max.
Yeah.
But it's streaming on Max, premiering on August 8th. So just a little bit away before you get a little bit of training camp insight of the Jets. Our week 2 opponent. But I did want to make a comment about this, baby. Tickets to the Jets' first 4 open training camp practices to the public sold out this morning in 3 minutes.
I am honestly not surprised. Lovers, haters, fans, new and old, everyone kind of wants to see, like, hey, how is this going to work? What's this going to look like? And, can Aaron Rodgers actually make it happen somewhere other than Green Bay? Because I think a lot of people still want to know if his heart is actually in it, even though he did say that he would only play if it was. No. Now, real quick, Colleen K, thank you so much.
In the house.
You're a real one.
In the house.
She said, you were starting to say that you love that since Dak joined the league, and I remembered exactly what I was going to say. I'm like, it feels like it's been just a lot of teams realizing that, they can risk it maybe on some of their rookie QBs. Just because I'm just saying, since then, we've seen, like, first and second year rookie quarterbacks just, like, absolutely get way farther than anyone ever expected them to. I've never thought I would see so many young quarterbacks making it to playoff games, winning playoff games, getting to AFC and NFC championship games. Like, I'm just saying, like, I don't know how it used to be back in the day, and I'm sure backup guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think an experienced backup player kind of making it that far is one thing, but like a guy fresh off the boat doing it. And also someone that maybe wasn't expected to do it, which is in a lot of cases what ended up happening. Like, I don't know.
Dak Prescott.
Even I have to admit, that's just good football.
Dak Prescott, rookie year.
Yeah. Right? So, anyway, that's what I meant about the Dak thing. So, defense is nasty. Hell yeah, Raul, what's up?
James Hurst saying that the Jets' defense is nasty, and, they are a lot better now with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
Their secondary is fantastic, and that's our week 2 opponent. Let's not forget that. So keep an eye. I'm going to keep an eye watching on that Hard Knocks thing. But anyways.
Back to you, baby. Yeah. That's all.
So, Hall of Fame. We know some Cowboys are getting inducted here. And again, Pro Football Hall of Fame announcement order, or I guess announced their order of the enshrinement ceremonies, which will be August 5th, right before the Hall of Fame game. It's going to be Zach Thomas. Zach Thomas, he played for the Cowboys for like a year, by the way. Ken Riley. DeMarcus Ware, of course. Coming in as, by the way, I found out he's going in as a Cowboy and a Bronco. He's going in as both, so he's still connected to that star. Joe Klecko from the Jets. Chuck Howley, Cowboys. His son Scott's going to do that. Darrelle Revis, of course. Don Coryell, his daughter Mindy Coryell Lewis will be doing that. And Rondé Barber, and finishing up with Joe Thomas. So that's the lineup there. You're going to kind of start off with a Dolphin who's had a Cowboy year or two there. Then after a couple of people, you get DeMarcus Ware in the mix. Chuck Howley, a couple after him. So it's going to be chock full of Cowboy, new and old. Newer and old, I should say, because they're all old. They're all retired. So anyways, just thought, that was interesting that came out today. Now, let's talk about CD, baby. CeeDee Lamb. treated unfairly, in my opinion. When it comes to Madden 24 and the top 10 wide receivers in their game, number 1, by the way, 99. I think he's the only guy of the safeties and receivers. Those are the only 2 positions that were released today. The safeties and the receivers in Madden. He's the only one with the 99. Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson said, quote, "Y'all have no idea what it means to be a 99 in Madden. Since I was 7 years old, I've been creating my own player, making him a 99. And now I don't have to." With a mind-blown emoji. You got to give, again, no matter if you like it or not, Madden is a big deal to these players. So it's about respect here, more so. So overall, Justin Jefferson a 99, Tyreek Hill a 98, Devontae Adams a 97. You got to let me know if you think any of these guys, Stephon Diggs a 96, Cooper Kupp also a 96, Jamar Chase a 94, DeAndre Hopkins, there you go, Tennessee a 93, Terry McLaurin, question mark, a 92, A.J. Brown, and Amari Cooper, they're tied with a 91. And then the 11th person on this list is CeeDee Lamb with a 90. So what do you think? He got 11th. He put Amari over him. What do you think about this, baby?
So,
experience?
On a personal level, I disagree with CeeDee Lamb being 11. I definitely think he should be up there. I have to be honest, I'm not really sure, other than Terry McLaurin and honestly maybe even Amari Cooper. Like Amari Cooper I feel like should be 11. CeeDee Lamb should be like 10 or something. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. But outside of that, on the other side, I understand. And you know why? When you look at it from not a biased Cowboy perspective, yes, CeeDee Lamb is all that in a bag of chips, and that is why he's 11th. But realistically speaking, the 5-6 weeks that Dak was not really there, we barely saw CeeDee Lamb. And when Dak came back, yes, CeeDee Lamb absolutely blew it up. He came through clutch. He was amazing. He was awesome. But there were still faltering moments in our offense that ended up meaning that CeeDee Lamb was the guy that got the short end of the stick and, wasn't used as much in certain situations where maybe we would have wanted to see him or normally he would have been. I'm not going to rehash the whole thing, but my point is that from an outside perspective, I understand why maybe they just didn't see enough of CeeDee Lamb, literally, to put him any higher. Because to me, in my mind, those games where Dak was not our quarterback, CeeDee Lamb basically did not play. He had, I think, one good game out of those, 5-6 games.
And the one against the Giants, when he dropped the touchdown, CeeDee Lamb had a touchdown, Cooper Rush's throw, and CeeDee Lamb literally just dropped it, fell into his hands, out of his hands. But in the second half, he made an unbelievable twisting play in the end zone, and that showed wide receiver number 1 is in the house. And I think that's where he
Scorpio,
took over from that point on.
Makes a great point that kind of backs up what I'm trying to say here. He said, I agree with the ranking for Lamb's first half of the season performance. His second half of the season shows me he could have been top 4 on the list.
Exactly.
He had drops, missed routes, and other things in the first half of the season.
That's very true. Very good point right there.
And that's what I'm trying to say, that it's a lot of that not so great performance happened, again, with a lot of, there was no Dak Prescott.
But you can say the same thing about Terry McLaurin, and they have a crappy situation in Washington. But that's not, CeeDee had a crappy situation with Cooper Rush for a little bit and had some drops. But I'm saying, Terry McLaurin, and I see some comments where I agree with what Raul's saying.
Yeah, I put CeeDee over Amari and Scary Terry and Hopkins.
And that's what I'm saying. I can see CeeDee over all 3 of those guys because he's healthier, because he's still the trajectory on the up and, on the rise. He's not on the downside of his career.
I also feel like part of it too is, and maybe this is just again my Cowboy bias speaking, but impact. You're really telling me that those guys had the same kind of impact when it came to winning or bringing the team back or scoring points or I don't know. I'm not saying these guys didn't do all those things, but it still feels like CeeDee Lamb did it more / better. No. So GM254 says just so ready to get the season started. It feels longer this year than last. Same you know here. Why though? It's because of that Tampa win. It hurts more. It feels more raw.
Just went another round. Yeah.
Noah Brown is our number 1 receiver when Rush was a quarterback. So exactly.
Kind of, and that's not good for
John
an offense.
Womack, what's up?
Go Cowboys.
Scorpio saying here, if Lamb played like he did in the second half of the season from the start, there's no way he wouldn't be top 3.
He'd be top 5.
His first half did hurt him, but he's growing and learning.
Exactly. And I think I would have given him a little bit over the other guys because he is the newer, shinier guy right there. And can you compare it to an older Amari Cooper, an older DeAndre Hopkins? I'm just saying, that's what I feel. Scary Terry McLaurin is good. I don't know. I think most people would take CeeDee Lamb over Terry McLaurin. Anyways, I do want to keep it going here. I'll go back to CeeDee because it's important. I got something to show you guys. But CeeDee Lamb again was tied for 11th highest receiver in the ratings on Madden. Now, how did our other receivers do? Brandon Cooks had an 83 overall. I'm sure his speed was high. Michael Gallup had an 80 overall. And Jalen Tolbert had a 70 overall. That's our receiving core right now. Of course, Simi Fehoko, Turpin, and others. We'll see how that turns out. We got Jalen Brooks. We got drafted. We got another undrafted guys that are keep an eye on. So we're going to see what happens with the depth, throughout training camp. But those are the main top 4 guys, receiver-wise. What about safety-wise? Malik Hooker had an 82 rating in Madden 2024. That is tied for 26th highest in the NFL among all safeties. Jaron Kearse and Donovan Wilson both had an 81 rating. Just crazy to me because, again, we have an 82, an 81, and an 81, and all 3 guys fucking start. That's a solid safety core. I don't think anybody has kind of that kind of core with their 3 guys. And I'm not saying just a backup like safety uses them half the game. We got guys we use 3/4 of the game. All 3 guys in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Cornerback, box linebacker, safety, strong, free, whichever. Slot, corner, outside corner. So we use these guys all over the field.
Look, it's a big upgrade from years long past where these types of numbers would have made us cry in our seats.
But the point is, 82. We have not just one guy in 82, let's say in Madden, and then 3 guys in the low 70s. We got all guys, unfortunately, low 80s. I think it should be a little higher, but okay. We got all 3 guys in the low 80s. That's 3 starters right there, and that's solid core of our safety. So Israel Mukwamu had a 69 rating, so he's getting close to 70 there. That's our top 4 safeties on the Madden list. The only one that really made the list, I guess, is 26th ranked Malik Hooker, and then I'm sure 27th ranked because he's the number behind them, Donovan Wilson and Jaron Kearse. So they were right all together in the mix. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about CeeDee Lamb. So going back to CeeDee Lamb, this is more about his football situation. Let's take a look at a brand new video. Delphonte Diamond, who is a kind of a footwork specialist for wide receivers. We've seen him with CeeDee Lamb multiple times before. Jalen Tolbert was out there as well. I'll be bringing you all the footage on that, I'm sure, soon. Hopefully before training camp. If it gets too far, we're just going to forget about it. But I'm going to show you a little bit of CeeDee Lamb right now. And he's chopping it up out there, doing his kind of footwork drills. Check out the footwork. It's about the footwork here. It's just getting ready. When you have to make some turns, some cuts, some moves. Again, he's not going to run routes that look like that. But this is just a way of like getting ready to make a move at any point in those motions, in those moves, the shimmies, the shakes.
Again, I hate to keep bringing up that Netflix quarterback show, but it reminds me a lot of some of Patrick Mahomes' training, where a lot of it was just like overall movement training, right? Yeah. Just getting his body prepared to move in different unexpected ways. CeeDee Lamb is just doing all the types of moves that he's going to need to do as a receiver. You know what I mean? Like you said, he's not running any particular specific route or drill in that sense, but he is doing absolutely every single type of movement that he's going to need out there on the field.
And it's continuously moving. He's continuously moving. He's, as far as CeeDee Lamb, he's doing his cuts, moving forward.
Forget how fast he is sometimes.
He is fast, but he's not like Brandon Cook's speed fast. He's only, he's a hair behind him. But the point is, CeeDee Lamb has, he's just trying to up his game right before training camp, all right? And listen, they were doing things in Atlanta this past week. I'm going to talk about that too. The camaraderie is getting better and better. But CeeDee Lamb is still working hard, guys, and he's still, trying to up his game, not just to be the best on the Cowboys team, but the best in the NFL. So he continues hopefully this Madden ranking puts a little, more fire under his ass to go out there and even, just be even more elite. That's the hope.
Agreed.
So, any other comments here before we move it on about CD or anybody else?
James Hurst said it comes down to clutchness. So
CD's gonna be pretty clutch. I think.
They say they can earn their ratings going up by playing well in the season. Mm-hmm. So again, if
it does get updated,
if this really chaps their ass, go out there and play for it
and change it. Micah did. Micah was pissed.
That's right.
Micah went there and they changed the whole fucking rating system. I can't believe. Listen, I can't wait to do the linebackers or edge defenders because Micah Parsons should be number 1. He should be 99. That's just me. I don't know. I don't know how they could not be that.
If Micah's anything other than 99, maybe 98 at most, as long as he's like the top guy or something, like I don't know what to say. We'll
see. I mean, they got others in there, but I just think there's a different kind of player. Than Micah Parsons is different than all the greats on the edge right now, Bosa's and Myles Garrett. I'm sorry, but
not to be that person, but Micah really is built different.
Yeah, he's built different, really is. And he goes to play linebacker better than all of them. You know what I mean? So anyways,
it still blows my mind, but yeah.
CD win the books with him, right? Now let's get to another guy. It's very important on our offense. TP, Tony Pollard. Holler, baby. Now, the reason he's up on the board here, because we know today the deadline passed. Tony Pollard's going to stay in that $10.019 million, 10.091, I think it is. I don't know. It's just the point is it's $10 million basically, a little over $10 million on the tag. Of course, there was no extension signed. We discussed this the last 3 days that it was not going to happen, and we knew this already pretty much the whole offseason. But let's talk about the other two guys that are out there at running back that did not sign their tag and did not reach a deal. Well, I say did not reach a deal yet on an extension. So no deal for NFC East New York Giants running back Saquon Barkley. Again, guys, talks went down to the wire. Best efforts were made to get a compromise. Did not get one. So now he's threatened to sit out, guys. He's threatened to miss Week 1 against the Cowboys when it comes to Saquon Barkley. He's going to play on the tag. The question is, when will he play, right? There's no long-term deal now reached between Saquon and the Giants. He's not expected to report to training camp with the rest of his team. It's not going to happen. He's going to get fined, and he's going to have to pay that. The Giants are not expected to see Saquon Barkley until later this summer, if even then. Barkley's going to have decisions to make as to when he's willing to report or not. The less time he's there, slower he's going to be Week 1. And that's what, anyway, Week 1, 2, 3. It just plays us Week 1.
We know how crucial every single day of training camp and just figuring out your playbook, figuring out what the heck you're going to do. And if it ever is going to be more important, it's probably going to be for that Week 1 game in the sense of you can't really afford to miss any of the prep for that since that's how you're kicking off the whole shebang.
Yeah,
so,
you got to know everything. He might not be up in speed and everything. Point is, it's not. That's how it affects us. The running back situation is dire right now in the NFL as far as the running backs are concerned. And you look at the Raiders. I know that's the one that really checks us more. Like the one we have to check on more is Saquon. But the Raiders and leading rusher last year, running back Josh Jacobs, did not reach a deal as well. They went through extensive negotiations, even though they were far apart. It got close today, guys. It's unclear whether he's going to play on the tag or not. But how close was he to signing Josh Jacobs? This extension with the Raiders? He was sitting in the car in the parking lot of the Raiders facility with teammate, if you watch that quarterback show, Max Crosby, number 98. They were both sitting there in his car right at the deadline, ready to sign if it got done. He was ready to just walk in there and sign it, So now it didn't happen. It's unclear when the Russian champion will return to the Raiders. So he might sit it out as well. There seems to be a line in the sand. Now,
look, I am so glad that we don't seem to have any kind of contract shenanigans at this moment.
I mean, Tony Pollard loved taking that 10.1 deal. So, look, in the end, 3 franchise tag players received long-term deals. And those 3 guys, Pollard did not. Saquon and Josh Jacobs did not. But Pollard's playing. He don't mind it. Lamar Jackson was tagged. He got a 5-year, $260 million deal. Deron Payne from Washington, a guy I was hoping we maybe would see. I know the Cowboys would never pay. 4 years, $90 million for a dominating interior guy like Deron Payne. And then Evan Ingram, who had not signed the tag yet, guys, today got an agreement, 3 years, $41.2. He's the only one that got a deal done at the buzzer there. Evan Ingram from the Jaguars.
Lucky for him.
3 years, $41.25 million. So with no long-term deal, the guys that did not get the long-term deals, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and of course the guy on your screen there, Cowboy running back Tony Pollard. The last time a running back signed a long-term contract worth $10 million per year or more was Nick Chubb in 2021. That's 716 days ago.
It's been a while.
It's been a while since anybody got paid being a running back. That's just the way that is right now. That's the market of the RB. Baby, whether the man from Australia, the other side of the rock, repping that star over everything Aztec.
Shout out to you, Aztec. Much love with an Australian. $2 holler, a wink and a football, and a go Cowboys.
You know why he's here, baby.
Because it's like
he loves the Cowboys.
noon over in Australia. Actually, what time is it in Australia? Is it 12 hours ahead?
No, it's a little. I think it depends which time zone they're in because they got like.
Oh, that's right. They have a few different time zones. So
let's put Aztec on the board.
Let's go with 12 as a light estimate. There you go. So it's a nice afternoon there down under. James Hurst said the Giants were smart to tag him, use him up, and then dump him.
And they're probably going to tag him next year. I'm going to explain that in a minute.
Like you said, the fact that the last time we saw any kind of running back get paid was in 2021, and we're in the 2023 season. The writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
It would have been nice, I think, if the Cowboys would have worked out something a little more long-term with Pollard, just for my own, I like Pollard type of thing, but... Cowboys are trying to weigh all their options. Hell no.
You can't overpay. You cannot overpay for a running back nowadays.
Yeah, I was right. It is 12 hours ahead wherever he's at. So there you go.
Yeah,
good guess.
It's a good point. Yeah.
Anyway, back to you, baby.
It fluctuates. It depends which time zone he's in. Anyway, what I was going to say about this, the cost to franchise tag a running back right now, a top running back in the NFL, is just so low for teams to pass up. Think about this. The quarterback tag in 2015.
Yeah.
$18.5 million. Now, $32.4.
That's a lot of moolah.
Receiver tag in 2015. $12.8 million for the receiver tag. Now it's $19.7. Not as much as the quarterback. Still busting up, right? Running back tag in 2015 was $10.9 million. Now, $10.1. Going down, baby.
Man.
Yeah. So all other tag prices for all other positions have risen. The running back tag, the only one that has gone down.
Running backs are going to unionize on their own.
Well, already, listen, I'm not going to go into details about all the things that were said, but Derrick Henry and many others out there talking about, like, this is not fair. The running backs who might as well not even have a position anymore are called running back.
And that's I was just about to say. I'm like...
That's what they're saying. That's what the running backs are complaining.
No offense, but if you are an up-and-coming player... trying to make it to the NFL or whatever, trying to make the type of maybe bigger money outside of the $1 and $2 million kind of running backs, you're right. You're not going to get a top running back ever again. You're basically dissuading anyone, even semi-talented at that position, to basically become a tight end or a receiver, or they're going to end up on defense, actually. Yeah. That's basically what's going to happen.
It's insane. It's insane. Nobody's going to... It shouldn't be a running back position anymore. Or your receivers that also play running back, I guess, is I guess, look, no one's going to want to do it, like you said. And the fact that they're just using up these running backs in 4 years and then spitting them out.
End up hurting the player, because if they're trying to get paid receiver money, they're not going to get receiver money because they're doing running back stuff too. But I'm just saying that versatility will end up coming back and biting them in the ass. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how the NFL handles this.
Low pay, in the sense of course, $10 million. That's fantastic. But low pay in the NFL wise, right? In the NFL, money downfall that comes in there,
of course.
Right? But I'm just saying, like, in there for running backs, they're getting paid very little in that sense, and at the same time, also they're getting paid little at their best. After 4 years, they're getting paid even less. There's no need. They just go to the next $10 million best guys, and then they drop down to the $4 million guys.
Yep.
That's what it seems right now. I think it'll change again in the future, but for right now, that's what's literally happening. So when you look at these guys, right, and I'm using Pollard in the mix in this, okay? Here's how these franchise tagged running backs, these 3 running backs. Now, we're only talking running backs that were tagged, franchise tagged. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Tony Pollard. How they did last year? A lot less usage for Tony Pollard. Of course, the most yards, Josh Jacobs. Games-wise, Pollard and Saquon played 16. Jacobs played all 17. And when it comes to, again, I'm going to go through, let's say, rushing yards and rushing attempts. Josh Jacobs has that. When it comes to yards per attempt, Tony Pollard has that. Rushing touchdowns, Jacobs had 12. Barkley had 10. Pollard had 9. Not bad. The most receptions, believe it or not, baby, Tony Pollard was a third out of these guys. He was last out of these 3 guys. When it comes to catches, he only had 39 catches.
Okay.
So we want to see more of that, I think, for him.
Honestly, not surprising, just because Kellen Moore was the guy at the helm there.
There you go.
But, hopefully, like you said, hopefully that changes.
But again, 39 catches for him. Josh Jacobs, 53. Barkley, 57. Barkley, by far, obviously, we know he's always been a great receiver. Receiving yards, even with the very little catches for Pollard, he still had 371 yards. Jacobs led the group at 400. So he had the most, per yards per catch, right? 9.5 yards per catch for Pollard. The other guys had 7.5 and 5.9. So we should utilize Pollard a little more in the air. What do you think? Open field, you want to use him there in space. Anyways, receiving touchdowns, Pollard's the only one that had any. He had 3 of them. Barkley and Jacobs had 0. And, when you look at, of course, Pro Bowls, they all went to the Pro Bowl, all 3 of them. And the only one that was an All-Pro was Josh Jacobs. He did lead the league in rushing. And there was an interesting little statistic out today, baby, and I want to make sure we clear it up when it comes to running backs. We got to clear up a lot of things today. A quote from Dak. We got to clear up this thing that's making its run out there. The average,
crazy how it spreads.
It's crazy. The average salary for a running back, baby, in the NFL. There's a lot of running backs. I'm going to explain the trickery here, but the average salary for an NFL running back this year is $1.81 million.
Like I said, that sounds about right. That's what the position has basically become.
The average salary for an NFL kicker in 2023, $2.26 million. It pays more to be a kicker than a running back in the NFL.
And let's be real, you're sacrificing a lot more as a running back than you ever do as a kicker. It doesn't come close.
Not even, I mean, kickers can play their 50. Listen, here's the trick, though, baby. We got this. There's always a trick in this thing. Much love, by the way, to Visual BTW.
Oh, thank you for subbing it up.
And welcome to the family here on MCF. Appreciate you and go Cowboys. Now, by the way, Mark, 51 points, man. That's right there, teetering the halfway mark.
That's
now,
right.
Mark at the halfway mark. So the trickery is this, though, baby. Let's look at this in a real way. There are 32 NFL kickers. That's it. It's harder to be a kicker than a running back. There's 100 to 125 running backs that have really cheap salaries.
Okay.
Mainly at the bottom. Of course, there's some at the top. But when you do the comparison with only starters, then you got a different story. I'm pretty sure when you look at the top 32 running backs in the league, $5.7 million. So that's trickery. It's still crazy. $5.7 million is really what the running backs average. Starting running back in the NFL, a starting kicker, $2.26 million. So it's still like a $3 million, a little over $3 million difference. And for a lot more abuse. And a kicker can play 30 years, and running backs will play 6, at most, if they're lucky.
It feels like no matter which way you slice it doesn't quite feel like enough.
I agree, but it sucks for the running back position. They might have to have their own union, like you said.
That seems a little more fair.
I mean, when the minimum is like 1.1 or something like this, a veteran minimum 1.5. You can get 2.26 because there's only 32 of them in the league, and you got some veterans out there. So,
so the running back position is just going to be placed by like another offensive lineman or a blocker.
Who knows?
Or something.
Yeah, I mean,
another tight end.
But who's going to want to play it? Then you're going to lose money.
No, I'm just saying, there are no more running backs on offense. Only you get one more tight end.
Well, I mean, you want to have the run game, and how are you going to run the ball then? You're going to have to run the ball. So you just can't go to all passing game.
I don't know what to say. It just isn't it kind of funny that technically football started as
only running.
No passing, only running sport, and now probably by the time all of us end up in our graves, football is going to be a pass only, no running sport.
Those would be the days. that wouldn't happen. But
tell me another sport that basically almost completely eliminated the viability of a position, right? Point guards still matter in basketball, right? I'm just saying. I'm
just thinking that for this situation, it fluctuates. So I think it'll get back to a point where we'll have running backs maybe utilized in a way that someone's going to find a new way of using them, and then it's going to become the thing to get, the piece of your team to get, a running back that does this or that can do that. That's not now, though. Right now, it's a shithole situation for these running backs right now. So just wanted to say, guys, when you do the comparison for starters only, this data I just told you, 1.8 for the running backs, that's true if you take all 125 of these guys. Mm-hmm. And the 32 kickers, I mean, the kicker's going to make more money if you look at it like this, because it's going to, dry it out, stretch it out so much when you're a running back. It's not going to give you a true comparison. True comparison is 32 starting running backs, $5.7 million versus 2.26 for the 32 starting kickers. Still embarrassingly underpaid when it comes to running backs, in my opinion. But that is the way that's the market value. That's the way they're being used in schemes, and one day hopefully it gets back for them. That's not now, though. So again, I wanted to make sure everyone understands. I mean, Pollard has no issue. He's not going to sit out. Let's talk about Tony Pollard here real quick. Multiple reports today, as we knew the last week or so. We knew this for the last couple of months, but we know that Pollard's going to play on the $10.1 million franchise tag. He signed in March. But people found out how far apart were they truly, both sides. And the source says that there was not any extensive discussions about a long-term deal. Now, we had discussed this when it kind of slipped out there that, Tony Pollard would be willing to take that. Stephen Jones said he would be willing to do something like that. So we got to thinking, but of course, that was just like a due diligence move by the front office. So again, very far apart, obviously. No discussion about long-term deal. It's a sign that the running back market in general is over, guys. It's bad for the running backs right now. When even the Cowboys aren't falling for it, and we're overpaying right now technically for running back. That's crazy that we're at this point when it comes to RBs. Again, Todd Gurley to me was the biggest name that kind of got one of the last big chunks of money there. Zeke, of course, Dalvin Cook trying to get it still now, and still unsigned. Dalvin Cook, he's probably asking for 10, 11 million. No one's giving him that. Not because he sucks, because he's a running back. So now since Ezekiel Elliott's huge contract in 2019, Cowboys have been atop the NFL when it comes to cash or cap spending at the running back position. Not a good thing to be in this day and age.
Yeah,
we're overspending at running back since the Zeke contract. But I just want to explain, no team has devoted more of their salary cap towards a running back in 2022, last year, than the Dallas Cowboys. $19.8 million was the amount we put towards running back, which is way too overpaying.
Astounding, considering, again, you just mentioned that the average starting salary of a running back is around $5.5 million. Like,
starting running back.
What the heck?
Depth, starting running back. Depth running back, it's like $1.5 million.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, most teams with the starter and depth, even if you go on the high range, we're still not talking more than, like, let's say $8 to $10 million.
Exactly.
At the peak. Or more than double. We're
So
practically double.
that is not the preferred distribution of salary cap money when you have especially when you have a quarterback like Dak who has a non-rookie contract, high-priced offensive line. Dak with the $40 million, the offensive line. We're spending money on guys that are getting older, right? But great still, but when they're healthy and when they're in, Zach Martin's always great. But right now, Cowboys have zero guaranteed money. At this moment, the Clown Show did something good. Zero guaranteed money or dead cap tied to any running back in 2025.
Good.
This is a big deal for the money in the books, so to speak, the salary capology, whatever you want to do. This is important to make sure we're clear of running back money. We're clearing it this year, next year, and by 2025, there's no money to running backs. We're just going to go draft them, I think. Mark Hovsepian with that 5 on it.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys are changing their philosophy there on the running back.
By the way,
Mark
goes into first place with that drop right there on the overall board.
With that
what did the man say?
$5 he said,
yeah.
My friend who I used to cruise with and is currently engaged to Connor Williams said that the Cowboys treat their players horribly.
Really? Wow.
And that they couldn't wait to leave.
Wow.
So I will say that the Cowboys, there's always a handful of players every year for the Cowboys. There is some serious friction with them and the front office, right? I'm not going to go into it, but it's kind of a relatively running narrative, at least since I've been a Cowboy fan, that there does tend to be at least one active player that's like genuinely trying to punch Jerry and Steven in the face at any given point in time.
I mean, definitely there's always friction going on, but it's like if you're not, I believe if you are Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, DeMarcus Ware, and Jason Witten, Romo to an extent. I'm saying if you're these guys that are known, been part of the fold, Jerry Jones will love you. The Cowboys will treat you great.
Yeah,
I mean,
once
you want to
you're
be
a Cowboy, like you're
in
you're
that
good.
way. No, in that way, you got to be good. But if you are, if you are, what's his name, Bryce Butler. Probably treat you like shit.
That was the guy who I immediately thought of when I said this, and also I remember Beasley. That last year, I hate to say Dez as well, but it's more about the fact that...
But Dez is also good with Jerry Jones,
He is good, but that's, like I said, it still doesn't mean that there wasn't, like I said, he happened to be one of the players that year that was having friction with our front office. So...
Well, and we will...
Amari Cooper last year.
Yeah, I know. Listen, people don't like the front office.
Last year, the year before.
There's definitely some issue with the front office. We know what the issue is with the front office. They usually come when they come out there and they put the makeup on. It's the clown show. So hey, it is what it is. But at least I think on this deal with Tony Pollard, it's not a clown show. I think this is actually the right move to not try to give an extension, especially when the numbers for the running backs are going down. It seems the Cowboys trying to clear the books of any running back money. By the way, Mark and I had a great discussion about, and again, I hope Mark and I know Mark is cool about it. We go back and forth on the Dak interceptions with Noah Brown and all that stuff. I love hearing other perspectives, and I love getting into it. So appreciate your insight on that. Even me saying the ball is low.
I was just about
These guys get paid. Even the worst guys get paid to make that catch. So.
I was just about to make that joke. Mike Atlanta said, if you don't produce, you get the axe. So, by the way, Rolando Rodriguez,
Noah Brown's gone.
Keep talking about the versatility of Tony Pollard, how he's not just going to be used as running back. Rolando said, was Tony Pollard in that picture with Dak and all the other guys? Was he hanging with them?
No, remember, it was that pic, and I'm going to talk a lot about it, so brace yourselves. We're going to talk about camaraderie here next. But it was not running backs involved in that. Tony Pollard was doing his youth camp, and I think Kelvin Joseph was out there with him. But Pollard was doing his thing and probably staying close for maybe an extension. But the running backs, I'm talking about Deuce Vaughn and Rojo and Malik Davis, Dowdle. None of these guys were at this thing in Atlanta with Dak. It was just wide receivers and tight ends. It was a passing workshop and a little, collaborative kind of, camaraderie kind of deal there with the offense. I love it. Now, finishing with Tony Pollard, because I'm going to get to that now, but finishing with Tony Pollard, guys, and we're almost done here tonight, so keep that in mind. We are rolling out here on a Monday.
Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
You know it.
You guys can follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Of course, hop into the Discord, links down below. I said hit like.
Yeah.
I think I did. Yes.
Much like sponsor of the week, Skeptical Fan.
The membership man.
Membership leader as well. Much love to him. Jason Renfro dropped the a gifted membership and also taking the lead in the Cash App side of things. But SnugX, he's the king of the Cash App. Mark's got 56 points on the Stream Boss. He's currently leading the overall board for this week, kicking off a new one here, trying to take back that sponsor of the week. And I did all that with not my VTuber working. So just wanted to say, Tony Pollard, no surprise, in my opinion, no deal for him. The real negotiation push before the franchise tag deadline is done. Both sides are good with Pollard. Both sides, Cowboys and Pollard. We're good with him playing on the $10.1 million tag. He's good with playing on it, which is a huge, think about it, it's a huge raise from being a fourth-round running back on his rookie deal. I do think if he has a very good year, we'll talk about this in a minute, he could get tagged a second time. Now, would that be worth it? It would be like $13 million now. I don't know if the Cowboys want, but if he want, the Cowboys must really love him and maybe use him like Deebo Samuel, then that might be the only way that's worth it for 1 year, paying a little bit more, but you get one of the best running backs in the league if he has a good season. The question in 2024, though, to me is who gets tagged? Is it going to be Pollard? Will it be Terrence Steele? Will it be, right now, Trayvon Diggs is hanging in the balance. He gets tagged next year, right? I mean, these are all these guys can be tagged. Trayvon Diggs, Terrence Steele, Tony Pollard, all unrestricted free agents. And if Diggs and Steele don't get a deal before the end of the season, that means that, you got to make a decision between one of these three guys you keep, and the other two you got to maybe say bye to. Now, we got one guy we would never say bye to. He rocks it here all the way from Hawaii. I mean, spanning the globe. Much love to Mark Hopesepian with that $2 holler. I can't wait. Let's hear it.
He said, "Brother, I have no issues with you being wrong."
Funny guy, Mark. It's okay.
Don't worry, Mark. Neither do I.
Well, I hear that all the time here. So you're not going to faze me, Mark. I hear that all the time.
Yeah, he's all prepared.
Yeah, I've been well versed here. No, well versed, not lubricated. Mark, listen, it's all good.
I'm sorry, that's caught me so off guard.
Quarterback under pressure, getting putting the ball in a spot where the receiver needs to make the play and just get that first down. It's 100% on Noah Brown.
Yep, Mari Roberts. Much
and again,
love,
90% of the people believe it. And what I say,
Asmodius saying that kind of lopsidedness pays a black eye on the NFL. They better clean that mess up.
When it comes to the running back situation, yeah, it's definitely gonna be a situation. But for us, to me, it's about the tag. So yeah, I mean, running back maybe an issue. We might have to draft a guy maybe in the second or third round next year. That might be smart.
It might be a Cowboy issue next year. Is the point?
Yeah, but the Cowboys are clearing the books right here, guys, and they're making sure no running back money is here. And we can make a kind of clean kind of investment when it comes to running backs and kind of a different path. Let's put it that way. So I don't have Malik Hooker on here, though. Yeah, we're done with the Tony Pollard thing, unless there's any last comments in the chat about TP.
Nope.
Playing on $10.1 million. I'm cool with it. But let's quickly on defense, baby. Malik Hooker, the end of SportsCon happened yesterday, I think. Yes. And I know some other quotes are trickling through about Malik Hooker, who spoke about the advantages of playing for Dan Quinn, and he wants to retire a Cowboy, as well, if possible. I mean, this is one of his team's hometown kind of team. So, The thing about Malik Hooker, he said multiple times, listen, Dan Quinn does not get enough credit for what he does with us. Like using him, Malik Hooker, he's a free safety. Out of college, a free safety roaming the back. Dan Quinn uses him in the box as almost a hybrid linebacker at times, not as much as Donovan Wilson and Jaron Kearse. He used him in those situations for run support, used him to blitz, used him as a slot corner, as an outside corner, as a safety slot. I mean, a free or strong safety. And you got to credit Dan Quinn about the way he uses these guys who are guys that were, let's be real, guys. Donovan Wilson was a Cowboy sixth rounder. All right. You got Jaron Kearse was flipped around from the Vikings to the Lions. Nobody wanted him. And Malik Hooker was injured. Nobody wanted him. And the Cowboys took him in there and balanced him so he could not be injured. And 2 years later, the guy is his best years has been with the Cowboys. Malik Hooker, guys, he knows the defense, he knows that our defense is where it all stems from. We talked about this yesterday. One of the changes for the Cowboys that we don't talk about enough is the identity of this team. Forget about the offense and the high-flying 35-40 burger bullshit. This is about defense, and defense wins championships. Malik Hooker said he knows that's the heart of the defense. The heart of the team is the defense. He was extremely he's on. I see him a lot making comments on Twitter, but he's a humble guy. He is appreciative of Jerry Jones giving him a chance here, even if it was like a week into training camp 2 years ago. He said, with some of these second-year guys, he plays there with Damone Clark. We talked about Damone Clark in the situation he's kind of, we're seeing from him. I think that he's going to be a guy that Damone Clark is going to be vital for the Cowboys to get really, truly starting reps. Last year, he kind of came in there for Anthony Barr, but Damone Clark is a guy, Malik Hooker says, keep an eye on him. Same thing with Jalen Tolbert. So that's interesting, too. Tolbert on the rise, it seems to, by a lot of different groups of people, not just offense or the receiver coach or the coach, but also the defensive side as well. Listen, Malik Hooker loves the three-headed monster. So, of course, he was talking and hyping up the fact that he believes they're the best in the league. Curse, Wilson, Hooker. And he also said that, Israel Mukuamu, don't sleep on him. And he's our fourth guy. He said, don't forget about Marquise Bell. Fifth safety. And again, Mukuamu is going to be playing maybe a little slot. We saw him in some slot, maybe a little outside corner. We'll see. But I freaking love it. And this defense is coming together. I'm hyped, guys. I cannot wait. Now, as the Cowboys, officially scheduled to leave for training camp a week from today it was. Now it's going to be, we're 6 days away, guys, till the Cowboys arrive in training camp there on July 24th in Oxnard, California. Right now, we still have only 89 players on our roster. So there's room for one more guy to sign. Don't know who it's going to be, but I keep saying, like Mark, we agree here. Offensive guard. Left guard. Come on. Bring somebody in here at the buzzer. I believe the Cowboys did it with Anthony Barr last year. They did it with Malik Hooker the year before that. They wait till about a week in a training camp, and then they sign their guy. The year before that, right before, they signed Everson Griffin. So they will get a signing in there. I don't know which position or what spot. Everything on defense is pretty fucking solid. Maybe a linebacker. I don't know. But I think offensive. I'm hearing also running back and linebacker. But you know what I'm going for? Guard. Not Dalton Reisner anymore, but a guard. All right? So now let me get you to the fun here, the camaraderie. This cohesiveness on offense that you're seeing. I love it. We've talked about it yesterday. Let me talk about it a little bit more now at the Atlanta kind of workout, but it was also fun. All right, Dak Prescott, the majority of the Cowboy skill players, and I'm talking about tight ends, quarterbacks, and Will Grier is in there as well. You see Will Grier here on the left, Dak on the right. So you're seeing the quarterbacks, quarterbacks, tight ends, receivers, all in Atlanta for this little get together here. Weekend trip to Atlanta, Georgia. Get some work in and bond. And ahead of the start of training camp, the chemistry with these guys is growing by the day this offseason. Here's Dak. Now, what do you think about Dak's build here? He looks pretty chiseled.
I have to admit, and I was telling you this earlier, this is the most fit I think we've ever seen Dak.
Now, here's Dak looking at CeeDee Lamb flying. They're connecting. They're practicing out on the field. Here, look, CeeDee Lamb making the one-handed catch. Fantastic, right? So, listen, CeeDee and Simi Fehoko having a new little dance here, a little celebration. Simi, Michael Gallup, MG, back to 100%. Here's Simi with Jalen Tolbert. They're fighting out for that fourth spot. So I'm just saying, here's Simi making a nice catch. Again, just getting the timing with Dak. They're going to need a training camp.
Getting loose, having some fun, just getting used to each other again.
Jalen Tolbert over the shoulder. Let's see that this year. Here's Turpin. He's got the Turpin time. You didn't know if he was out there. Guess what? He's there. Little man Turpin time in the house. Now, you think that's Deuce. It's not. I'm not sure who that is. I will admit. I think he's one of our receivers. I don't think he's Jalen Brooks, though. Here is our tight end. Of course, Ferguson. Afterwards, getting a little water there. But either way, these guys are busting ass on that field.
Like a cover girl commercial.
And that was their practice sessions. They had a couple throwing sessions. Getting that camaraderie. We love it. The chemistry. I love this. And they also went to the lake. What was the lake? I forgot the name of it. But
Okeechobee.
Not Okeechobee. Onoki or something like this. Look, here they're playing some video games, probably doing some fun stuff. I mean, they're just having a great time. And here at the lake, getting flipped. Dak at the left of that boat. Gallup in the middle. Sean McEwen. Don't forget about him. He was in the mix here. Tight end. He stayed on board. The only one that stayed on was McEwen. But there you go, guys. They're having some fun in the sun. And you see that picture here of all of them, right? The receivers, the tight ends, the quarterbacks. They worked it out here over the weekend and in Atlanta, and they made the most of the situation. As they know, they have after this weekend, it's literally a week to training camp. They back home, family, friends, chill, and then let's get it on like Donkey Kong, July 24th. So I just wanted to break that down. You guys can see this whole reel again as Dak chiseled and ready.
Yep, team chemistry.
What do you guys think about this, baby? What do you think about this? I want to know what the family thinks.
Like I said, I think Dak looks the most fit I think I've ever seen him. Pretty much every year we always see like some kind of workout like this happen, but I love that every single time we see it, it's like more and more and more and more players end up getting like tagged along. So love to see it. Aztec Aguilar 4 said, our team is taking this year serious. You can tell everyone is ready to bring their A game to training camp and the regular season. Let's go Cowboys. Agree.
And that's, I don't really care about the celebration, but that's team chemistry right there. CeeDee Lamb, Simi Fehoko. I love it.
Yeah, so. Good to know, Mike Aldana. SportsCon was at Fair Park in East Dallas.
Yeah, it was in Dallas. And I think it's in Dallas. I don't know if it's every year, but...
that's where it was this year.
Yeah, and a lot of Cowboys always show up, so,
So, GMG254 did have a quick question. Top 5 NFC teams? And again, in no particular order.
I think you got, the top, there's 3 of them I think you got to say above and beyond. Our Dallas Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Niners. Those are the top 3. They have the top 3 defenses in the NFC.
Outside of that, I would probably say the Vikings maybe the Giants.
I say the Lions.
Really?
I say the Lions, yes. I think the Lions are 4th. I think the Giants are 5th. That's what I can say. The Vikings could be there 5th as well.
I actually put the Vikings a little over. Like, I don't know. To me, I say Vikings, Giants. And like I said,
really?
that list isn't.
I say Lions over all of them.
Cowboys number 1. Cowboys number 1 always.
But to me, it's a big break though between these teams here. To me, it's 2 out of these 3 teams are going to be in that in the NFC Championship game, and that means the Eagles, the Cowboys, or the Niners. And I think that
Seattle's fine.
Seattle.
They're fine.
Yeah,
they're fine.
They might sneak into the playoffs. I'm just saying.
They're not top 5 in the NFC.
Teams that I think. Green Bay don't have. They don't have Aaron Rodgers, and I'm just saying like there's a lot of changing going on in the NFC. But I do believe that I think that the Cowboys, Niners, and Eagles are up there, and the Lions will be 4th. I think I would even put the Giants maybe 5th. But who knows with Barkley and all that stuff. But at that point, it's like I don't really care. It's a big enough drop even after the Lions. In my opinion, the Lions are 4th, solid 4th by themselves. And then you got like the 5th, 6th, 7th. They're all basically like the Giants, Vikings, and I don't know, the Saints. I don't freaking know who's going to be there. They got Derek Carr. So I'm just saying I don't know who's the other teams are going to be, but I think that the top 3, I just mentioned them. That Lions team is in the middle there, and the rest irrelevant because it's going to be the top 3 teams fighting it out unless there's a surprise somewhere. But what about these little frames of their little visit there in Atlanta? Any other thoughts maybe before we finish this up?
Good looking footage, said Asmodeus. I
do my best to compile the best here for the family here in MCF, and I'll be getting these out here, onto video clips and that kind of stuff here on our channel, so you can check them out there, comment there. This is just for the family when we go live, so you guys can see what we see. And kind of bring it to you. We can discuss it live with you. I love though to hear comments whether here or when we do these videos separately. So
yeah, that's we can
the
keep
deal.
It rolling. Yeah.
So now again, Dak Prescott, kind of going to be the bigger discussion here when it comes to the rest of the stream. Here, finishing it up. So I'll cut this off here. Let me do that and leave Dak up there on the screen because Dak Prescott, guys, he actually was taking part in a Bud Light campaign.
Okay.
Easy to Summer campaign is what it's called. And he said, quote, Bud Light has sponsored football players for many years, and it has always been a blast working with such an iconic brand, especially for a campaign that's all about making summer easy to enjoy. You can't go wrong when it comes to summer, friends, and a freshly mowed lawn. I'm sure Dak hasn't done that in a while. But the point is, Dak is obviously a lot of commercials, Oikos and, Campbell's soup. And so he got a lot of that cowboy quarterback, money that's coming in there from outside of his contract, right? So I just want of course. No, I'm not trying to say it's bad. I'm saying that he's out there advertising. Now, when you look at the top 10 quarterbacks for 2023, the ratings went out, the ESPN, ratings from the scouts, executives, coaches. And Patrick Mahomes, number 1. He was ranked number 2 last year. Joe Burrow is now 2nd ranked. Josh Allen, 3rd ranked. Aaron Rodgers dropped to 4. He was number 1 last year. Justin Herbert is now 5th on this list. Jalen Hurts, I don't know how he makes it. He's not really a quarterback. All right. he's not throwing the ball as much, I think. He's running a lot more, let me put it that way. But all right, he's 6th on this list. Lamar Jackson 7th. Trevor Lawrence 8th. 9th is Dak Prescott. By the way, last year, Dak was 10th. So Dak, before you guys say, you see, Dak deserves it, he went up from 10th to 9th last year. And Matthew Stafford dropped from 6th to 10th. So that's a top 10 quarterbacks. I mean, there's a case you can make for Dak to be better than a couple of these guys. I don't really have an issue with him being 9th with last year's performance. And, we'll see. This year, I think after this year, he might be, 7th, 6th, 5th. We'll see what happens with the McCarthy scheme. But it ain't going to be worse than it was last year. It's not going to be as bad as it was last year. I can almost guarantee you that.
Agreed.
And Dak speaks on that. We'll talk about that in a minute. A lot of tipped 10s going up out there. So, anyways, I'm cool with Dak being ranked 9th. He's a top 10 quarterback. Top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And that's through the analytics. That's through the, voting of polls when it comes to, scouting people, managers, peers, everybody. Dak is a top 10 quarterback. It's the way it is. Now, when you look at the interception situation, and that's where we're going to get to kind of this finishing up with this conversation about Dak and his interceptions. But just so everyone knows, he's literally one of the least interception throwing quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is number 1, Jacoby Brissett 2, Mahomes 3, Tyrod Taylor 4, Brady is tied with Colin Kaepernick at 5, and Justin Herbert at 5. Russell Wilson is 8th, Daniel Jones is 9th, and then Dak Prescott tied with a couple other quarterbacks in 10th. He's a top 10 non-throwing interception quarterback. 2% of the time is this percentage there of throwing interceptions. And again, this is between his entire career. This is not just like a one-year thing or taking a good year. It's all his years together. So as a overall quarterback, Dak Prescott is one of the best at not throwing interceptions, even though he had a horrible year last year. What was the reasoning for that? A lot of tips off the, bad route running, bad decisions by Dak, bad play calling by Kellen Moore, bad route running from the receivers or tight ends, and some drops that just was on 100% on the receivers. So all 17, obviously, and Mark can even agree, they're not on Dak. Not all of them. Some of them definitely on Dak, and most of them somewhere Dak is involved in that. So, he'll be better this season. But 10 is a magic number we got to talk about here. I'll explain in a minute. Just to finish up the ESPN rankings, he was the highest ranking he had by all these people, 7th best quarterback. The lowest ranking, he was unranked on some lists. Of course, Dak's 29 years old, about to turn 30. Pretty polarizing player according to them on this list. He's still they say he's a fringe top 10 passer, but he's consistently voted in the top 10.
Okay. Like
even if he's kind of the fringe by the overall, every year he gets in the top 10 quarterbacks, right? So he appeared on 60% of the ballots. And, threw 15 interceptions in the regular season last year, tied for worst in the league, even though he missed those 5 games. Obviously, with that fractured thumb was a big negative about Dak's rating this past time around. He still went up on the rankings. According to an NFL personnel evaluator, said, quote, he just wasn't seeing the field well last year. Wasn't as decisive as in the past. And that may be true. I think Dak was being purposely aggressive per the Kellen Moore play call, right? The game plan. We saw that. There was a different kind of aggressive Dak last year. I'm not the biggest fan of that, of Dak being overly aggressive, but we know when he is aggressive, most of the time he will succeed. We've seen that. But again, he put himself out there to make more mistakes. So, according to an NFL personnel evaluator, not as decisive. Not seeing the field well. I also think, how much does that have to do with Dak? And also, how much does that have to do with Kellen Moore? Just saying. Now, turnovers haven't hampered Dak Prescott's scoring ability. He has an 82.5 QBR from the red zone that ranks 3rd in the NFL among all quarterbacks. He threw a touchdown on 5.8% of his passing attempts last year. That's the 4th best in the NFL. So this man can put up points. He can get you in the end zone. It's shown. You can see it happening. And again, against easier defenses in the Kellen Moore scheme, works great. And it doesn't win you a Super Bowl, but it works great for the easier teams in the Kellen Moore scheme, right? Obviously, Dak has established serious chemistry with CeeDee Lamb, who, when Dak attacked and used CeeDee Lamb as his target, a 93 QBR rating when he targeted Lamb, compared to a 57 rating when he targeted Gallup last year or Noah Brown or anybody else. And again, no separation from Gallup. Noah Brown's is not good enough. Now we have a better and a revamped Gallup and a much better replacement to Noah Brown, which is
Damn
now
right.
Brandon Cook. So you're going to see that going up as well.
It's hard to even think that we took the Noah Brown train as far as we did, so to speak.
The Cowboys did it. Instead of reinvesting and getting an actual receiver, they got James Washington and said, no, Noah Brown's going to be the guy. Incredible. That's the clown show. That's how they screwed, some ways, Kellen Moore, but really, they both, Kellen Moore and the Joneses, the clown show, they screwed Dak Prescott last year. So McCarthy said,
keep doing it if you keep giving him a chance
McCarthy
to.
said, well, not McCarthy, but the Joneses said, okay, Kellen Moore, you're out. McCarthy, you're in. McCarthy, it's up to you now. It's up to McCarthy. Without Kellen Moore for the first time since 2018, Dak is going to look to find the connection with McCarthy and the play calling of McCarthy, who we know is going to, definitely utilize the running game more. I don't say creatively, but more intelligently. I think you're going to run when you need to run and run right. You're using guys like Schottenheimer, as a kind of and Soliari, the offensive line guy, Schottenheimer, offensive coordinator, as creating some of that running stuff, the run, play action, that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to what they're going to do. Now, before I go there, baby, what about the man Mark Hovsepian, who's up to 63 points on that stream, boss, with that 5 on it?
Woo! Thank you, Mark. And he actually has another $5 holler coming right after that, too.
When he's got another 5 on it. 2 5s
I'll
equals
go
a
ahead
Cooper
and read
rush.
his comments.
There it is. There it is.
They flow together.
Hell yeah. Let's hear it. All right, Mark. Let's break it down for me, brother.
So Mark said, I don't buy this top 10. There is such a big gap between the top guys, like the SD, QB, and Dak. It's like saying I'm the third strongest bench presser on my team. But the number 2 bench presses 600, and the number 3 bench presses 250. So yes, officially he's number 3. The number 3 is not impressive. And Dak is just like that. The talent pool is just not great.
So I kind of understand what you're saying. You're saying that, even though Dak is top 10, and that comes with, with a lot of fanfare, like a top 10 quarterback, right?
10, yeah.
Doesn't mean you're actually really playing to the elite level. And I agree with you. But you look at that list, and most of those guys, I'd say maybe there's 3 or 4 guys that play, maybe up to Aaron Rodgers. At that point, that's top 4. After that, none of those guys are really playing to the, I would say, top of the line kind of, elite quarterback, consistent elite quarterback abilities. Now, look, I'm going to look at the list again. Mahomes, a dominator. I mean, the best quarterback in the league right now, in my opinion. Joe Burrow, going to be the next best quarterback in the league. Josh Allen should be as well, but he's kind of like Dak, in my opinion, in some ways. Aaron Rodgers, a legend, still a top 3 guy, top 4 guy. Herbert still needs to prove himself. Hurts got the team to the Super Bowl. That's more on the coaching use of running the ball. Kind of like Lamar Jackson, who's right after Jalen Hurts. As a pure passer, neither guy stands up to Dak, in my opinion, especially Jalen Hurts. Trevor Lawrence, he's in the mix for sure, but so is Dak. Matthews. So to me, I mean, let's be real. Mahomes, Rodgers, Burrow, maybe Josh Allen. Do you really can say Justin Herbert is that much better than Dak for sure? Or Hurts, or Jackson, or Lawrence? So
you say that much better.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I think I understand what Mark's saying, but you also got to look at. Yeah, maybe it's not great. Maybe you say top 5 now, right? You say top 5. That's now the new top 10. We can do that, but Dak's still second tier. Dak's still a tier of franchise quarterback. Top 10 quarterbacks, whether it's a good pool or bad pool, still get paid the $40 million. It's up to the coaches to use them right. Kellen Moore failed us. The Joneses failed us. So Dak, I believe, still deserves another chance in this scheme, in this situation, with Mike McCarthy right now, in McCarthy's West Coast scheme. And I think that's just the issues we've seen with Dak sometimes are on Dak. Like every quarterback has. The Bradys and the Rodgers have these issues too. But it's not consistent. Dak's a little more consistent in making some of these mistakes. Is that Dak because he sucks, or is that because Garrett, Linehan, Kellen Moore, it's stained? Let's be real. Let's see McCarthy, and a true outside influence like McCarthy, really get his hands on Dak and see if we can get the coaching to his skill set. Mark, you got to give me at least this, that if we coach to Dak Prescott's skill set, wouldn't you expect Dak and think that Dak would do better than he has been in the current situation he's been put in with Kellen Moore and Jerry Jones taking away weapons? Right? So no matter what, I gotta see Dak and McCarthy be better. I would bet on them, not against them, based on Kellen Moore and what he did. Dak still did very well. Not as good as he could have, in my opinion. I think that's what McCarthy's fixing. He better be, at least. And everything else, we'll see if Dak can do it on his own or not. Because then it's on Dak, and a lot of this is on Dak and the mistakes he's made. But
But
a lot of it also, there's other
like
reasonings around him, right?
It seems like that's the plan, at least.
As far as
trying to get Dak.
Yeah, build these things around Dak. What did the man Mark Hovsepian have to say as he drops another 5 on it, and he keeps pumping up that stream, boss. Get himself fixed up there, baby. He takes a bigger lead on the overall board. He has 73 Tyler Smith points. Much love there. What do you have to say?
Exactly. We pay him like a top 10, but the top 10 talent is not there. I do think those guys are better. He doesn't suck, but we are looking at $55+ million.
I hear you, but that's what I'm saying. Top 10 quarterbacks, they're all getting, when Dak signed, they're getting $40 million. Top 10 quarterbacks. Top 10 quarterbacks next year, they're getting $50 million plus. That's all I'm just saying, like top 10 quarterbacks, whether we like it or not.
Oh, but that's
the way it goes.
He's going to get paid like that, but he doesn't feel like he is.
But why? No, but that's the market value. It's different. You can't market value don't care about how you win or lose. Market value is if you're a franchise quarterback. If you're in the top 10, you're a franchise quarterback. You're going to get paid over 40, over 45, over 50. And I don't know how high up it's going to go, but that's the range. That's the way it's going here. I mean, I'm just saying. Again, you say you take some of those other quarterbacks. Maybe some of those guys you take over Dak, not all of them. There's no way you take all of them over Dak. So, and if you did, it still puts Dak in the top 10. Again, talent not as great, but it's not about top 10 or not. It's about franchise quarterback. And Dak is a franchise quarterback for the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Similar to Derek Carr is a franchise quarterback for the Raiders. And right now, technically, I guess like Daniel Jones is the franchise quarterback for the Giants for like 2 years. So
thank you again, Mark Hovsepian.
Oh, another one. I missed that. Sorry,
holler.
I'm in my little rants and my thoughts. Thank you, Mark, for another 5 on it.
He said,
what did he say?
Better coaching will help, but when we play better Ds, we seem to blame everything on the coach, and it also seems that Dak can't adapt to the better Ds.
I think that's when you have to see the coaching come out the most. You know, it's the coaching. He's still going to be able. Dak's going to be able to do great against bad teams. That's the same. I think the coaching comes into we play the harder teams, the harder defense. Dak will see the field better because he's got a better game plan around him, a better coach to dictate the scheme around his strengths, Dak's strengths, and the weaknesses of the defense. And I think that, yes, Kellen Moore maybe attacked some of that, but he didn't take into consideration the offensive line situation. He didn't take into consideration Dak's skill set. He didn't take into consideration that Gallup and Noah Brown just could not do it. So instead of adapting like McCarthy did those 5 weeks with no Dak Prescott with Cooper Rush, McCarthy adapted and went 4-1. McCarthy adapted, not Kellen Moore. Please understand this. If he can do that with Kellen Moore, if McCarthy can do that with Cooper Rush, how much better can we see Dak with Mike McCarthy there instead of Kellen Moore? Mm-hmm. Kellen Moore would have lost all 5 games with his game plan and Cooper Rush. I'm telling you guys, it would have been pick after pick. He would have been the worst quarterback in the league. Would have lost every game. But McCarthy kept us afloat. That's why I got to trust in McCarthy for this year with Dak Prescott. And I do believe that no matter what happens, we'll be better against the bad teams. We'll be better against the good teams because Dak will see the field better in a scheme that fits his strengths and his skill set. Mm-hmm. I hope Mark can agree with that. At least if that's what McCarthy does, we all should be agreeing that that's going to help Dak. Even if you hate Dak, even if you think he's average, even if you think he's okay, maybe he's top 10 but not great. No matter what you think of Dak, you got to assume it's going to help him if you're getting a scheme that actually goes and caters to Dak's best abilities. And that means you help the offense. And if you take in consideration the offensive line situation,
that's just good for everybody.
Hell yeah. Helps everybody on this team. So I hope McCarthy has the keys here. He has the control to fix this thing, and you know what's great about it? He has to, because if not, he's out of here. So he has every single motivation to get the shit fixed in Dallas, or else sayonara. And in comes DQ Dan Quinn. Not Dairy Queen, Dan Quinn.
So, anyway, outside of that...
Great discussion.
Yes, no, again, appreciate everybody here. Hanging here, chilling with us. That does bring us, I think, to almost the end of tonight. But let me preemptively say, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Hop in the Discord, links down below.
And by the way, Mark is still leading the pack here. 78 points on the stream boss. First place on the overall board. Sponsor of the week, the Man Skeptical Fan. He's leading the pack on the gifting memberships. And of course, Snug X, you know why he's here. He's the Cash App King. Jason Renfro, though, in the lead on that board. Now, the last thing I'm talking about here is Dak Prescott. And he spoke. Baby, he spoke at that youth training camp in Frisco earlier this month. We talked about some of his quotes. There's one quote that's making there. It's kind of making a rebound around the Twitter sphere, and Dak responded to a lot of different things. But we're going to talk about kind of the reason why this quote is going around. But first, I'm going to give you the whole context. That's what we try to give the full context of quotes and thoughts. So Dak responded to the media discourse, and social media discourse going on about him, and he said, quote, well, I'll say before I say that, I'll say, quote, Marco Seppian dropping that 5 on it. Another 5. The man's taking a commanding lead in day 1 here on the overall board. What did Marco Seppian, from Hawaii, repping that star of everything, have to say?
He said, sure, but it comes down to one thing. Will the coaching ever get us over the better teams? We beat the shitty teams, like you said. We have a ton of talent. No excuses. And
I agree. Again, I got to see McCarthy using some of what he's seen the last 3 years and getting the best out of Dak Prescott in this offense. That's McCarthy's job. That's it. He should have seen something, and I think he has seen things over the course of 3 seasons. He kind of been chomping at the bit to get in there and work with Dak. That's my thoughts there. So I think, will coaching get better? I mean, I think it's already better. Will it be enough? It better be. It better be. Because if it's Dak Prescott can't do it physically, which I've seen him able to do it if you manage him right, I think it's still on the coaching, but you got to eventually just say, okay, it's not working with our coaches, it's not working with our quarterback, and Dak's here 1 more year probably. But I do think the Cowboys will extend him, put Quinn as the head coach if McCarthy fails, and Dak will be extended for a couple more years. And then we got to get a coach out there that fully is all about Dak's strengths, and you just got to keep trying. That's all you can do. Now, Dak Prescott spoke about a couple of things here at this youth training camp that he had in Frisco, his own youth training camp. And he talked about the discourse about him and the team, the Cowboys, across social media. He said, quote, we are always a talking point. As you find something to talk about, that's the first thing that's discussed. Of course, Dak's not stupid. He knows that everywhere talking heads bring up the Cowboys, whether it's players, whether it's analysts on TV, to get clicks, to get views, to try to get bigger contracts, So Dak said, quote, I know who I am. And you go back and take away half of those. He's talking about interceptions. He goes, I know who I am. And you go back and take away half of those drops. I'm not saying it's on the receiver, but if you cut that number in half, then we start talking about those that nobody is talking about. So again, he said that nobody is talking about it. So again, he's saying if those passes, and guys, I mean, I've shown you the reel over and over again. I'm not going to show it again. But we know the situation with Dak Prescott's passes, how many of those were dropped, mishandled by the receivers. It's just you can't. We know nobody can really ignore that fact. That's definitely a fact. And the number would not have been as high as Dak's, as we've said here, but we've also said we know that even with Dak's, with the mistakes he made, It would be talked about. Oh, he threw this bad play here, bad play there, but it would not be the narrative that Dak sucks because he threw 17 interceptions, and missed 5 games. So again, I kind of want to play it in a way, but I don't know if it'll be able to play. Oh, look at that! It just screwed up my entire screen there.
Oh no!
It's all right. I'll get it back to normal.
MCF just went
almost
larger than life.
Almost kablooey, but not quite. And you'll see what I mean here, because again, you'll see all the mistakes, all the issues happen, and I do think that a lot of these mistakes by Dak, and I'll say Dak, is a lot of it is based off of play call, based off of bad routes run by the receivers. Some of that's based off of bad decisions by Dak Prescott. So you can check him out here, tell me what you think. But just want to say this. Again, bad decisions, bad play calls. I'm not going to put these up. I don't want to risk it with the YouTube world. But I just wanted to say it's slowing down my computer, so I'm sorry. But you guys can check out this video out there. It is out there. So check it out and then post what you think about the mistakes that he made. This was CeeDee Lamb mistake. Early in the season, it was definitely an issue. I got to take this down or we're going to have buffering issues. So anyways, just to finish up, this is kind of the big quote of the day. We're going to finish it with this comment here, guys. But basically, Dak was saying, look, some of these drops happened, and it turned into interceptions. It wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't be talking about my interceptions if it wasn't for those, issues that happened at times that the receivers or bad routes run. There was a big discourse about a claim that Dak said something, And we're going to clear it up here, right here on My Cowboys Family. But first, the man with the plan, Mark H. from Hawaii. Hawaii Mark, Hope Sapien, dropping that $5 holler. What did the man say?
Thank you, Mark. He said, over the past few years, Dak was top 3 in total turnovers, which includes fumbles and next generation almost interceptions where a pass goes through a defensive back's hands.
Now, I know he had a couple of those with the almost interception stuff. A lot of quarterbacks get that. Maybe he had a couple more than others. It happens to every quarterback. So, yeah, sometimes he gets lucky. Sometimes he doesn't get lucky. You could talk about those. You could talk about those almost catches. How about those drops by the receivers that led to interceptions, right? It goes both ways on that. We got to go both ways, right? When it comes to the interceptions now, look, fumbles not always on him. When it comes to interceptions, again, one of the least interception throwers in the NFL over his career. That's all I can say.
And Mark Hosepian said with the $2 holler ads,
Yes.
It's not always his fault. Look at that almost stat.
No. I'm saying that almost that's on Dak for almost throwing interceptions, bad decisions. But I've seen Brady have 3 or 4 interceptions dropped in the season. Again, maybe not as much as Dak Prescott, but he's still, every quarterback has that issue. Dak has maybe a couple extra chances for that. Okay, but over a career, that's not going to happen every single. That's not going to. I mean, eventually they're going to catch these interceptions, right?
You would think so.
So, I mean, the point is Dak had very little picks his first half of his career. Second half, he's had a lot more. He's been more aggressive, though. So can we find something in between that? Like he could be aggressive, but not overly aggressive, throwing into triple coverage because it's a curl route on 3rd and 8 at the sticks? That's not on Dak. That, again, he shouldn't throw it, but he's told, throw it into coverage because you got to be aggressive. So either Dak has to pull back the aggressiveness.
You lose no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's no win there. But look, Dak's point is not. I don't think it's an excuse. Dak's point of saying, you look at a couple of those, the receiver drops that were caught. He'd probably have 10, 11 interceptions. We wouldn't be hearing so much shit about this. So sorry, but I disagree with Mark about Dak being a quarterback turnover machine. We know that's not usually Dak. In fact, Dak is one of the best quarterbacks at not throwing interceptions over his career. And I'm hoping Mike McCarthy will bring it back to that. Let's go to Dak's skill set and not throw him into triple coverage in aggressive passes where he's pretty all right at. But let's not overdo that shit like Kellen Moore wanted Dak to do the entirety of last season and the season before and the season before and the season before. So Kellen Moore took over. Dak became a more interception, a quarterback that throws more interceptions, not crazy amounts more, but he threw more interceptions. Yet we didn't really help him try to avoid those and still keep him aggressive. We just said be aggressive and basically close your eyes and throw it in there.
Exactly.
And I don't like that from the coaching staff. Now, let me just go through one last thing. This is what we're going to end it with. That number 10, which, by the way, 10 is exactly how far Mark Hovsepian is from relocking and reloading that stream boss. He was down past the midway point. Now he's back to the top once again.
Fully loaded up.
But 10 is a word that was mistaken today about people that think that Dak Prescott was like kind of almost bragging about his interception issues. And he said after talking about this here, saying that the way we talk about his interceptions if some of these passes were caught. People were out there saying that they thought he said that he would not. He made a bold claim basically that he's not going to throw 10 interceptions this year. Now immediately I heard people talking about, of course you're not, Dak. You're going to throw 13 interceptions this year.
Nah.
Other people were saying, what is that going to? Some people were mad saying, what do you think he's going to throw? What are you going to throw? 9? This year, whoop-de-doo, it's still horrible. Like, not really if you're being an aggressive quarterback. But my point is, it was all taken out of context. It was another misquote there. And the haters love to come out and bash Dak for this, which he didn't even say anything wrong. So, again, here's what was said. Here was actually what was said, and he was asked, what is the impact with Mike McCarthy making the play calls on the passing game? And he said, quote, they know, meaning McCarthy, they know where the hell, this is what McCarthy is saying to, basically, look, Dak's saying this about the players in McCarthy's system, quote, okay. They know where the hell to be. They know why to be and when they're getting looked at. That's going to be a big jump, I think, from last year. We won't have those tipped interceptions this year. Now, I stress tipped because a lot of reporters took that as 10. They thought he said, I won't have 10 interceptions this year. He didn't say 10. He said tipped.
Yep.
I don't know how people mistake that, but again, a lot of headlines by a lot of big ESPN was saying are talking about Dak made a claim about he's not going to throw 10 interceptions this year, but that's not what Dak Prescott said. He was talking about being on the same page with his wide receivers, so they would not be tipped interceptions. Not only blaming the receiver on some of these drops, but he's blaming himself. So be maybe on a better same page with the receiver, so he won't have to throw him ahead or behind or low, right, Mark, or high, so that they're not like reached out for it, and there's a bigger chance that they'll get tipped in the air. Now, you go look at his interceptions that were tipped. I don't see anything wrong with any of Dak's passes that were tipped. And I'm not talking about the one with CeeDee Lamb where it was like Dak threw a little on the inside shoulder too much. I'm talking about the ones that were not Dak's fault, like hit Hendershot in the hands, hit Noah Brown in the hands. Those are tips because these receivers are just not focusing on catching the ball. That's on their money right there. So Dak's just saying, he was talking about tipped passes. He's not going to have not 10 interceptions, but tipped interceptions anymore, or at least definitely slowing that down. Again, not as cool or as big story out there for the media to run with and the haters to say, "Oh, Dak," and make their jokes.
Dak didn't promise no 10 interceptions or whatever.
Yeah, he didn't promise he's going to throw. He said I don't, because again, when you look at things in context, man, it's like you're actually understanding things rather than just running with dumb shit. I see a lot of people out there running with dumb shit. So we're clarifying it, guys. The big jump for Dak Prescott is that the players will know where they're going to be at under Mike McCarthy's scheme. Already it's showing, according to Dak. They know that they're going to be at. They know where they're getting looked at by Dak. That was a problem last year. And
evidently,
the players will also know why they're going to be in the place they're going to be at. This is very important. Everybody's, all 11 players are on the same page. And it's already kind of almost there as they hit training camp. So this is big. And because of that, Dak's basically saying that's going to be the big difference from last year and this year. That's the big jump from last year to this year. We're not going to have as many tipped interceptions this season. Specifically, we won't have those tipped interceptions this year. I won't have those 10 interceptions this year. So I hope we go on the same page now. I know next week we'll get someone saying, Dak was saying he's not going to get 10 interceptions. What an idiot. Just, it's going to happen, guys. So make sure when you see that out there, correct them. It's not about being better or being right. It's about making sure everyone's on the same page and understand, not just the Cowboys team, but in the fan base too. Because stuff gets dumb out there sometimes. And then, spreading some of that crap out there that's not real news and kind of narrative news, guess what happens? Now we got to answer every single question about why is Dak this and Dak that, and why is the McCarthy this and McCarthy, and it's all based on, sometimes based on BS. So, we want to make sure we get all our facts and information correct. Right, guys? Right, that's family? Right. So that's it for me, baby. I don't know. Hit up the chat on these couple of comments. We're going to do the shout-outs and say good night.
Mike Cardona said, Dak no longer accepts tips.
No tips anymore. Tens or tips.
Roland Rodriguez said, MCF, you can defend Dak all you want till he wins the Super Bowl. He's just like Danny White and Romo. I just want 6.
Agreed. And I'm not even trying to defend him. I'm trying to say that people saying out there he's not good enough. They're saying, oh, he said this. Look, it's not about defending him. Is he good enough to win a Super Bowl? Hell yes, sir. Rolando, Dak is good enough to win a Super Bowl. I want that 6 too. Danny White was good enough to win a Super Bowl. Tony Romo was good enough to win a Super Bowl. Dak Prescott's also good enough to win a Super Bowl. It's about the coaching, the players around these guys, the scheme. We'll see. We'll see if this new, part of Dak's career with somebody who's out of the Garrett mindset. Garrett, Linehan, Kellen Moore, that's a seeping of crap for Dak Prescott foundationally. Can't really change that now, but let's see if McCarthy can have Dak take ownership of this offense. And McCarthy, that's what he needs from Dak. Be on the same page with McCarthy, take ownership of the offense. McCarthy will do the rest. He'll set up Dak to make things easier to see, easier reads to make, quicker reads to make, and play to Dak's skill set and strengths. That's it. We know Kellen Moore didn't do that. He did not play to Dak's strengths or skill set. So we're going to at the very least see that. And that to me means we got a better than a top 9 quarterback. It tells me that we got ourselves a better than the offense that we think we're going to have this year, even with the left guard issue. So I believe we're still in good shape because of the scheme. It's the way it's built around our players, around our quarterback. And McCarthy had 3 years on his ass to check this out. So now it's showtime, McCarthy. It's showtime with Dak Prescott at the helm. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yep, that's right. So, again, let me go ahead and do the final shout-outs of the night. But a shout-out especially to the sponsor of the week and the membership man, Skeptical Fan.
Hell yeah.
Mark Hovsepian, almost completely fully loaded up there on that 90? Stream boss.
Is that DeMarcus Lawrence style? Yeah,
yes, it is. So, and of course, the Cash App King, Snug X.
You know
why.
Why Snug is in the house. And don't forget the leaders, though, baby. Marco Seppian leading the overall board as we speak. And Jason Renfro leading the overall Cash App board as we speak. Still, Skeptical Fan taking full control of that gifted memberships, even with Jason Renfro's gifting tonight to Marco Seppian, part of the membership. So he's got the emojis right into training camp. I can't wait. Everyone's got them. Got about 54, 55 people in the house in the membership. Navy, blue, silver, and stars. Appreciate every single one of you guys. And everybody here who dropped the love tonight. Like, you said a lot of the names already here. Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Marco Seppian, and Aztec as well. Thank you all. They hit up the chat. Hit the shout out.
Big Dal 8609 said, just win the whole thing, and they won't be able to say anything. What are they going to say now?
Exactly. Steph Curry. Yeah.
Yep. And that's
100% agree.
And
that's how you shut them all up.
Yep.
And they'll still say, well, your defense won the Super Bowl. Okay, who gives a fuck? Yep. Dak got a championship now with his Dallas Cowboys. It's the Dallas Cowboys getting the championship.
Mike Aldana, GMG254, Asmodeus, much love. Asmodeus said Dak has given accolades to his head coach without throwing his old buddy Kellen under the bus. He kind of has to.
Yeah. I mean, he does. Dak is a great.
He has to shout out and give praise to McCarthy without shitting on Kellen Moore.
Yeah. No matter what, you kind of shitting on him because again, we talked about this. When they say this, 8 weeks into the season, they still didn't get the playbook down. They're not on the same page. We saw that with CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, and Dak Prescott. So that's not happening this season, is I think the point.
Yep. So let me see here. Aztec Aguilar 04. We have Marco Seppian, of course.
Big Mark.
Let me see who else is here. I know Skeptical Fan, much love.
Yeah, always staying skeptical.
Let me see. That's actually as far back as I can go right now, surprisingly. So again, huge shout out to everyone here chilling with us. But baby, why do we do what we do?
I want you to tell us, baby, on a new Monday kickoff stream, why do we do what we got to do?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, here on MCF. We are always repping that star over everything. Never forget, 6 years and beyond, on YouTube, on MyCowboysFamily. Never forget the number one thing, here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long. Can't do this without you guys. Thank you for the drops of love from above. Appreciate every single one of you guys helping the channel out through all the different ways of doing it. And again, hopefully you all loving the nightly MCF experience as we're gearing up for a week away. Training camp and into the 2023 season we go, baby. I cannot wait. Also, tomorrow I do a programming note. Tomorrow my daughter arrives from Italy in the evening, so we're going to try to get everything done. Maybe get a quick stream tomorrow, especially if there's news out there. If there's not, we might pass on that. But either way, guys, we're probably missing a Wednesday or a Thursday this week, no matter what. So keep that in mind. We're going to be busy here. Daughter coming back, and we're going to catch up on a lot of things. So we might have to miss a day or two this week. But when we're here, we're going to give it our all. And we want to know what you guys thinking about our Cowboys as the daily news, info, and updates come out. And as we get closer to this training camp, I cannot wait. Now it's time to drop out and clock out officially for the night. I hope everybody hit that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We're back again tomorrow for a new show, Relocked, Reloaded, in a new week. But baby, before we can drop out officially for the night, tell everybody what we got to do first before we get on out of here and drop out.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, hell yeah. The beat's been dropped. And Dak's chilling. Look, Dak's part of the Over Everything Club. He's chilling us the whole stream here. I almost left them on until we dropped out for the night. Dak, see you later. Guys, thank you for rocking here with us on the nightly with your, thoughts about our team. You guys make us see things differently at times, and we appreciate that. We love to learn with you all. Hopefully we can help. You guys help us. Thank you all for rocking on the nightly here. For more Cowboy discussions, the news, the information, those updates, and beyond. Thank you for joining us here, guys, on MCF for another Cowboys chat. And we discussed a lot of this. Pollard, 10.1, tag. Yeah, we'll see what happens next year. CeeDee Lamb, Dak. CeeDee Lamb I would say, definitely, it was very bad decision there by Madden to put him so low on that list. Disrespectful of CeeDee Lamb, but Dak said, we're going to fine-tune this thing and make you a 98 or 99, right? Dak's ready. Again, no more tipped interceptions, guys. Not 10, tipped. Here in MCF, we're not tipping it away. We're going to be back tomorrow, hopefully, rocking another one here in MCF where it's always about that navy blue, silver too. That star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here, my Cowboys family. Much love to everyone in the house. We'll see you back tomorrow for another one. Have a good, safe night. Peace. And never, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.